What if I told you that reality isn't what it seems? That the world is full of invisible forces, unexplained creatures, and eerie events that defy logic? Some of these stories sound like something straight out of a horror movie, but they're terrifyingly real. And the worst part? They're still happening today. Let's dive into the top 10 supernatural phenomena that will leave you speechless. Now, please subscribe. Your one subscribe fuels my passion and keeps my dream alive. I'll put in my full effort to bring you the rarest and most valuable knowledge. Number 10. The village that vanished overnight. Imagine waking up one morning to find an entire village missing. That's exactly what happened in 1930 when a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle arrived at an Inuit settlement in Canada. He had visited before. This was a lively community with families, sled dogs, and campfires. But this time, total silence. No signs of life. The huts were still standing. Food was still on the tables. Even a pot of stew was still warm over a fire. But every single person, men, women, and children, was gone. There were no footprints, no struggle, no bodies. Just a single grave that had been dug up from the inside, as if something had clawed its way out. Authorities investigated, but the villagers were never found. Some say they were taken by spirits. Others believe it was an experiment gone wrong. But one thing is clear. Whatever happened that night, it erased an entire community. Without a trace. F9. The man who woke up in another reality. Have you ever had a dream so vivid that when you woke up, you weren't sure what was real anymore? What if you never woke up? In 2006, a man named James Richards was driving through the California desert when he stopped to let his dog out. Suddenly, he heard a loud buzzing noise and felt himself falling into nothingness. The next thing he knew, he was in an entirely different world. The people were the same. The cities were the same. But tiny details were off. Streets had different names. Famous historical events had different outcomes. And the most shocking part? He found a Beatles album that never existed in our world. The band had never broken up. James swears he was in a parallel universe. He even smuggled the album back, and you can listen to it today. But here's the terrifying part. After sharing his story, he received a warning. Stop talking about it, or disappear. Number 8. The town where time moves backward. Welcome to Ong's Hat, New Jersey, a town that doesn't just exist in space, but in time. According to locals, there's a secret location in the woods where time behaves differently. People who have accidentally stumbled upon it claim that after walking through a specific area, they suddenly found themselves years in the past. Some reported seeing the town as it was in the 1800s, with people dressed in period clothing. Others say they saw future technology, as if they had skipped ahead in time. And here's the twist. Those who spent too much time there claim they were followed. Strange men in black suits started watching them. Some vanished without a trace. Is it a government experiment? A glitch in reality? Or has this town been a secret portal through time all along? Wait, please. Pay attention. Knowledge is power, and I'm giving it all to you. Now you really should subscribe. And yes, you must watch the full video too. Please. Let's resume. Number 7. The radio station that predicts disasters. In Russia, there's a radio station that has been broadcasting since the 1980s. It's known as UVB-76, and no one knows who controls it. There's no music, no DJ, just an eerie buzzing noise that never stops. But once in a while, a voice breaks through. A robotic-sounding man reads out random numbers, codes, and names. At first, people thought it was just a Cold War relic, but then something terrifying happened. Listeners began noticing a pattern. Every time a new set of numbers was read, a major disaster followed. The Fukushima nuclear meltdown? Predicted. The 2004 tsunami? A broadcast came right before it. Some believe it's a secret government warning system. Others think it's something much darker. And here's the scariest part. Recently, the messages have become more frequent. What are they warning us about now? Number 6. The phone calls from the dead. In 2008, a train crash in Los Angeles left dozens dead. Among them was Charles Peck, whose body was found hours later. But here's where it gets chilling. His phone kept calling his family for 12 hours after his death. His relatives received over 35 calls, but when they answered, there was only static. The police traced the calls, hoping he was still alive. But when they found his body, the phone was completely destroyed. And this isn't the only case. Around the world, people have reported receiving calls from dead loved ones. Some leave cryptic messages, warnings about things yet to happen. Are these voices from beyond trying to reach us, or something much more sinister? Number 5. The hotel room that doesn't exist. You check into a hotel, drop your bags, and head to bed. But what if the room you're sleeping in was never there at all? That's exactly what happened to multiple travelers at an old hotel in France. Tourists reported checking into room 307, a dimly lit room with faded floral wallpaper and an old rotary phone. They slept there, used the bathroom, and even called room service. But the next morning, when they went to the front desk to check out, the receptionist looked confused. There is no room 307. The guests were stunned. When they ran back upstairs, they found that the door had vanished. The hallway ended in a blank wall, as if the room had never existed. Some believe it's a ghostly anomaly, while others think it's a trap, an alternate dimension that only opens at night. But here's the most disturbing part. No one has ever stayed there twice. If everything you've watched so far has taught you something new, then you must subscribe. Because what's coming next is even more valuable. Don't miss out. Number 4. The man who lived the same day. Twice déjà vu is common. You feel like you've experienced something before. But what if you actually did? In 2013, a British man named David Lewis experienced something terrifying. One morning he woke up and went about his normal routine. He went to work, had coffee with a colleague, and watched a news report about a tragic car crash. The next day, he woke up, and everything was exactly the same. The same conversations, the same coffee order, the same news broadcast, word for word. David was stuck. The same day repeated for weeks. Doctors thought he was hallucinating, but neurological tests showed his brain was fine. Then one day, time moved forward again, just like that. What caused it? A glitch in reality? A hidden time loop? And if it happened once, could it happen again? Number 3. The house that devours people. In a quiet town in England, there's a house that eats people. It looks normal. A little too normal. The curtains are always drawn, the lights flicker at odd hours, and anyone who enters alone never comes out. A real estate agent was sent to inspect the house after multiple complaints of strange noises. He walked in and was never seen again. His car remained parked outside, and his phone signal disappeared the moment he stepped through the door. Police arrived and found the front door wide open, but the house was empty. No furniture, no floors, just a black void where the rooms should be. Then suddenly, the house was normal again. Some say it's a living entity, a house that feeds on those who enter. But the scariest part? The house is still for sale. Would you dare step inside? Number 2. The shadow people that whisper in the dark. Ever wake up in the middle of the night and feel like you're not alone? Like something is standing in the corner, just out of sight? Thousands of people around the world report seeing shadowy figures that lurk in the darkness, silent, watching, waiting. They have no faces, no eyes, just pure blackness. But here's the terrifying part. They don't just watch. Victims claim that the shadow people whisper. They murmur in languages no one understands. And if you listen too closely, you won't wake up again. Some believe they're interdimensional beings, slipping through the cracks of our reality. Others think they're souls trapped between worlds. But the real horror? They always come back. And the moment you see one, it knows you exist. Number 1. The ocean that calls your name. There's something about the deep ocean that sends shivers down your spine. The vast emptiness, the crushing darkness, the knowledge that we've only explored 5% of it. But what if something from the ocean was watching you? In 1997, scientists recorded a sound deep in the Pacific Ocean, deeper than any known creature could survive. It was a low, droning hum, mixed with what sounded like a voice. A voice saying something no one could understand. At first, experts dismissed it as an anomaly, but then ships started vanishing. Entire vessels were found abandoned. No crew, no lifeboats, just a strange humming noise recorded in the logs. Divers who swam in the area reported feeling an irresistible urge to go deeper. They described hearing their own names whispered through the water. Some never came back. Is it an unknown species? A siren-like force? Or something far older than mankind itself? Whatever it is, it's still down there. These mysteries remain unsolved, for now. But one thing's for sure, the world is far stranger than we can imagine. Which of these supernatural phenomena gave you chills? Comment below and let me know. And if you want more mind-blowing mysteries, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, we've only scratched the surface.